August 2021. Kabul falls. The world watches. Cameras capture chaotic airport scenes, crowded streets, and families clinging to uncertainty. But once the headlines moved on, another crisis grew. Slower, quieter, and more permanent. It wasn't fought with weapons. It was fought with empty wallets, closed workplaces, and hungry households. When the Taliban seized power, Afghanistan's economy was already fragile, built on foreign aid, weak institutions, and years of conflict. What followed was not recovery, but freefall. International assistance, the backbone of public services, stopped almost immediately. Foreign reserves were frozen. The banking system tightened, cash became scarce, and the government's ability to pay salaries weakened drastically. For the average Afghan, the takeover didn't bring a new beginning. It brought a terrifying realization. The country's financial bloodstream had been cut. Markets emptied, not because people stopped selling, but because people stopped buying. The economy didn't just shrink, it stalled. Shopkeepers watched customers walk in, ask prices, and walk out. Daily wage laborers waited for work that never came. Families reduced meals, first from 3 to 2, then from 2 to 1. Jobs disappeared. Hunger spread, and fear became an economic force of its own. Three years on, the Taliban claim they have restored stability. But stability without governance has proven hollow. In many parts of the country, fighting may have decreased, yet economic life remains stuck in emergency mode. A functioning economy needs competence, planning, and trust. Afghanistan has struggled to find all three. Ministries lack experienced professionals after waves of skilled workers fled or were pushed out. Government departments operate without clear public reporting. Economic planning remains opaque. There is little budget transparency, limited independent oversight, and no credible long-term development strategy that convinces citizens or investors the future is secure. Instead of treating the economy like an urgent patient in intensive care, critics say the Taliban treated it like a political trophy, something to hold, not something to build. While people expected jobs, reforms, and service delivery, the regime focused on consolidating control, tightening rules, restricting freedoms, and prioritizing ideology over administration. Restrictions on women became policy, banning girls from secondary education, sidelining women from workplaces, NGOs, and public offices. Economists warned early, excluding half the population from economic life would cripple recovery. Those warnings were ignored. Families lost dual incomes. Widows and women-led households, already among the poorest, lost the ability to earn. Female teachers, nurses, and aid workers were restricted or dismissed. Entire sectors weakened as skilled workers were forced out. Professionals left the country. Confidence evaporated. Rebuilding became a distant fantasy. Sanctions and international isolation play a major role in Afghanistan's crisis. There is no denying that. Cut off from global banking and recognition, the country struggles to trade, import, and attract formal investment. But analysts argue Taliban governance choices have deepened the damage. It's not just about isolation from the world. It's about how Afghanistan is run inside its borders.
the difference between the ruling elite or their tribal leaders and the normal common man in Afghanistan, you just can't believe the difference that there's there. The normal Afghan is as much a victim as anybody else in this world. They are being suppressed with force, with power, and being denied the very basic right to live, frankly. And that's what is happening to them right now.
Aid delivery has faced interference and restrictions. Humanitarian operations have been disrupted, especially where women's participation is curtailed. Journalists face pressure. Independent media has shrunk. Civil society has been dismantled. Fear has replaced accountability. And economies do not grow under fear. A business owner doesn't expand when rules can change overnight. A trader doesn't invest when banking channels are unreliable. A graduate doesn't build a future when education is restricted. Businesses hesitate to invest. Traders struggle to move money. Banks operate under tight restrictions, unable to support growth through credit and financing. What remains is a cash-based survival economy, people working to survive the day, not to build the future. Across the country, the crisis has become routine. Families sell furniture, livestock disappears, wedding jewelry, often a woman's last asset, is exchanged for flour and oil. Children drop out of school to work. Hospitals lack medicine. Clinics lose staff. Teachers go unpaid. Malnutrition rises, especially among children. Hunger has become so common it no longer shocks. It defines life. This is not a natural disaster. It is an economic one. The Taliban boast of increased customs revenue and reduced corruption. They point to tighter border controls and improved tax collection. But revenue without reinvestment means little. Where is the relief? Where are the jobs, schools, hospitals, and hope? Growth figures do not translate into food on tables. Critics argue the regime governs to survive, not to serve. Afghanistan today is not just poor, it is cut off from global finance, cut off from talent, cut off from investment, and cut off from half its population. The economy has not collapsed because Afghans lack resilience. It has collapsed because governance failed to prioritize inclusion, competence, and trust. Until policies change, until women are allowed to learn and work, institutions are rebuilt, and accountability returns, Afghanistan's economy will remain trapped in crisis. For millions, the cost of bad governance is not measured in statistics. It is measured in empty plates, in closed classrooms, in silent hospitals, and in young people who see no tomorrow, only another day to survive.